How you doing, Governor?
Jesus, look at this lineup, man.
Governor, good to see you. Good to see you. 100%. Vamos a ganar, vamos a barrer.
Mayor,
thank you.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure.
Cory, 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 Cory.
So good morning. I would like to thank everyone for coming. I especially want to thank our seniors who live in the building who came here. I want to thank Councilman Carlos Torres and Councilman Kevin Canary and Maria Carvalho, the president of our Board of Education, who are here. And I especially want to thank all of my fellow mayors. I'm Chris Bolwage. I'm the mayor here in the city of Elizabeth. I want to thank Chris Foglio, the owner of the building and the Hope 6 project. Chris, thank you for making the room available. I appreciate it. I also want to thank all of my fellow mayors who are here to support Senator Bob Menendez's re-election tomorrow, as well as Senator Cory Booker and Governor Phil Murphy who are here. You know, oftentimes I'm asked as I go out and I campaign and I say, you know, why is it important to have Bob Menendez back in the U.S. Senate tomorrow? And we're here for a reason, because this property was built originally in 1940s and it was outdated public housing. And when the Clinton administration had a Hope 6 program, the city of Elizabeth was a small, mid-sized city. Would we qualify for Hope 6? So we put a team of people together, and Chris Foglio and the city council. We went to then Congressman Bob Menendez, and we asked him, would the city of Elizabeth qualify for Hope 6? And he said, well, let's give it a shot. Write the grant. So we write a grant, and we asked for $30 million in order to tear down Pioneer Homes in McGlory Manor and build new housing for the residents of the city of Elizabeth. It was Bob Menendez who led the efforts in order to make sure that the city of Elizabeth could get in front of then Secretary of Housing Andrew Cuomo and make sure that we had an opportunity to compete for that grant. We spent literally the July of 1997 in Washington, D.C. because Congressman Menendez was extremely helpful in making sure that we had a shot. We were awarded that grant. And as a congressman then said, and as he says now, not only did we change the face of public housing in the city of Elizabeth, we changed the lives of the people who live in public housing in the city of Elizabeth because of Congressman Menendez. Whether we needed help with more police in the 1990s, he was there to support us. Whether we needed a fire grant in the last couple of years, he was there. When it came time to pass the Zadroga Act, which helped our police and firemen who fought at the World Trade Center in order to stem off the health problems they have, it was Senator Menendez who made sure that bill got through the Congress and the president eventually signed it. That's why I'm supporting Bob Menendez for re-election tomorrow. You're going to hear from some of my fellow mayors, and they can all tell a story on why they're supporting Bob Menendez. We need all of you, whatever the weather, to come out and vote for Bob Menendez on column A tomorrow. Thank you. Andre?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm honored to bring greetings from Patterson with one T. You know, it's often been said that elections have consequences. Let's talk about how consequential this election is if we elect the wrong Bob. Because the wrong Bob is wrong for all of us, especially in the urban areas. And the reason why this is the right Bob is because we know you were a straight-A student, Senator, but he got an F from the NRA, and that's a badge of honor for him to wear. I'll take that F any day. We all know we have to stem the flow of guns into our urban areas. Senseless violence, and Senator Booker, you can attest to that. I didn't recognize you at first. He dropped 50 pounds. Look at this man. Dear Lord. He looks good. I'll get your secret a little later. But nevertheless, senseless violence, our homicide rates, and we've seen a historic low throughout the country. We have to maintain that, right, Mayor? Mayors? We have to maintain that level. And with the right Bob, if we elect him, that'll happen. He can stand up to the NRA and continue to receive that high mark of that F, which I'm sure he's very proud of. So today we stand here saying that we are against guns getting into our urban areas. We have to stem the flow. And we're out here for the right Bob. And to prove that hate does have an expiration date. It's November 6th, 2018. It's more than just election day. It's redemption day when we re-elect the right Bob. Thank you very much. 50 pounds. Lost weight, but didn't lose the fire in the belly.
Great. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning.
No, you can do better than that. Good morning, city of Elizabeth.
Good morning.
I bring you greetings from the great city of Camden. The city that is rising. The city that is seeing amazing changes. And I'm going to tell you why. Because for many, many years, this gentleman right here, our dear senator, has been by our side. For all of those that know, the city of Camden has seen some tough times in its years. But whenever we needed something, we picked up the phone and we called Senator Bob Menendez. Bob Menendez came through for our police department when we decided to make the changes necessary. The funding from the federal government for more police on the street came with the support of Bob Menendez. When we had the worst dumping site in southern New Jersey, Camden Lab site, we walked with Senator Bob Menendez, and shortly thereafter, we were granted a grant to clean that site up that will be the new home of the Whitman Park Football League and Little League. I want to give you a round of applause for that support. Our public housing, which saw its challenges over the years, we have finally transformed our public housing to second to none in this country because Bob Menendez was always on our side. Bob, you have the full support of Southern New Jersey, the great city of Camden, and this mayor. And I want to tell you something as a Latino. My parents being from Puerto Rico, when Hurricane Maria, I was just in Puerto Rico a few weeks ago. When Hurricane Maria hit the great island of Puerto Rico, Bob Menendez and the delegation from New Jersey said presente. And they said they will fight so that we are not treated as second-class citizens, but as residents and individuals of this country. And that was Bob Menendez that led that delegation. Yeah? When this individual that's in the White House was shooting paper towels at our people, Bob Menendez was fighting in D.C. to make sure that FEMA gave us the money necessary so that we can rebuild Puerto Rico. And I was just there a few weeks ago. And Puerto Rico is a beautiful island today because of the green, lush mountains and all, but we still have a lot of work to do. And unless we change, we jump on that blue wave and change D.C., the Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico are somewhat questionable. But I want everyone in this room to realize that this election will be the most important election in our lifetime. In our lifetime. Think about it. There are thousands of Latinos that are walking from country to country to look for a better opportunity, as we all did at one point. And they're going to be greeted by, and I quote the president, if they throw rocks at you, treat it as a bullet and you shoot back. How inhumane is that? There is barbed wire across the borders in the southern part of this country. We are a party of inclusion, we are a party of love, and we are a party of unity. So I trekked up here 80 miles this morning to be standing here representing South Jersey to let you know that we are hip to hip tomorrow and make sure whether it rains or it doesn't, every single vote comes out for our column 2, but our Democratic ticket supporting none other than Bob Menendez and all our Democrats. Thank you, God bless you, and let's move forward. Thank you.
Mayor Ross Baraka.
All right.
Good morning. Good morning. Just want to thank Mayor Bowledge, first of all, allowing us to be in the great city of Elizabeth, our sister city. Staying here with all of my colleagues across the state of New Jersey and, dealing with problems that are very similar in our cities. Glad to be here with the governor of the great state of New Jersey, one of the best governors we've had, and with the two best senators in the nation, Senator Bob Menendez and Senator Cory Booker. We probably have the privilege of having, like no other state, a Latino and African-American United States Senator. We are so excited to have them both. And as was said probably a million times before I got up here, that this election is extremely, extremely important. I've been telling people as much as I possibly can that we need Bob Menendez. We need him now. We need him yesterday. We need him tomorrow. And we cannot falter on this, not one iota. We cannot allow the lies and the craziness and the cloudiness that's being put out here, because we know who the author of confusion is. We don't follow or listen to the author of confusion. We follow our gut, our heart, what we know is right and what's good for our people. We know that we need affordable housing. We know that we need health care. We know that we need increase in minimum wage. We know we want everybody to be treated equally despite their language, their color, their religion, the person they love, right? We know we want all of these things, and we know the only person that's going to give us that in this election is Senator Bob Menendez. Right? This is a referendum on Donald Trump. This is our opportunity now to say that we not only just opposed to what Trump and his folks are doing, that we are for Bob Menendez, we are for the Democratic Party, and we're going to vote as much as we can to continue to push our state forward, our cities forward, and this country forward. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to pray when I wake up. I'm going to hit the gym. Then I'm going to go to Greater Abyssinia Baptist Church, hug a few of the poll workers, and I'm going to push the button at the top for Senator Bob Menendez. And I'm going to go all the way down the line and vote for all the other Democrats. Then I'm going to go home and pray again that the fruit that is bared, that I put there, that something comes out of it that benefits us all. So I urge everyone here, and the sound of my voice, to go out tomorrow. Vote Democrat, but make sure you vote for Bob Menendez.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Governor Phil Murphy.
Yeah.
Chris.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Mayor Bowledge, for hosting us so graciously, to all the mayors here who were extraordinary. Thank you for your service. Chris Folio, thanks for having us in this beautiful center. All the folks here who live here, God bless you all, and thank you for having us. It is such an honor to stand shoulder to shoulder with so many of the mayors that I stand with every single day and work with, as we all do, to make the state stronger, fairer, and one that works for every one of our families. Let's be perfectly clear. More than just a seat in the United States Senate is on the ballot tomorrow. So is the very future of our cities and our people. We have a tremendous team working for us day in and day out with Senators Bob Menendez and Senator Cory Booker. As we work to rebuild our cities into engines of growth and economic opportunity, we need both of them fighting for our priorities in Washington, both of them. I look at the mayors up here with me today, a group of friends, and I see so many of our partners in this effort. And I know, too, that they see Senator Menendez as the partner they need to help keep in the Senate. It's a very simple premise. Donald Trump doesn't care about our cities beyond his ability to make a few bucks on real estate deals. He disparages our urban communities. He is openly hostile to our diversity. He has attempted to marginalize our residents. He has blocked our ability to extend mass transit to grow economic opportunity. He stands in the way of common sense gun safety, of higher wages and affordable health care. As a state, we're fighting back. And we have one of the fiercest fighters anywhere in our corner, Senator Bob Menendez. Right? Our families know they can count on him. Bob's never forgotten where he came from or who he's fighting for. Long before he was our senior senator, long before he was the highest-ranking Hispanic American in Congress or the ranking Democrat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, He was the son of Cuban immigrants who came to America in search of a better life. He knows both the American struggle and the American dream. Bob got involved in politics for the right reasons, to fight injustice in his community. When low-income students couldn't afford the books for his high school honors program, Bob ran for school board and won at the wise old age of 19. When Union City was calling out for honest leadership, Bob Menendez ran for mayor, and he won, and he restored integrity to City Hall. He has fought for Hudson County's working families in the State Assembly and State Senate and in the House of Representatives, and for all of us in the U.S. Senate. Every step of the way, he has committed his public life to giving New Jersey's working families, women, seniors, and students a fair shot at a good education, a good job, and a better life. He fought to increase Pell Grants and financial aid because he knows what it's like to depend on them, because he did. He's worked hard to bring federal dollars back into our cities and towns because he knows investing in mass transit, in public safety, and in sustainability are the building blocks of economic opportunity and stronger communities. There are few in Washington with his record of fighting for our values and getting things done. He helped pass the Autism Cares Act. He authored portions of the Affordable Care Act. He worked across the aisle to shepherd bipartisan immigration reform through the Senate. He has fought for a higher minimum wage. He has been a strong voice for the Gateway Tunnel. He has stood up to the NRA in the fight for stronger gun safety laws. He's fought for vital Superfund and brownfields funding so we can create new opportunities and turn the reminders of yesterday's industry into places for tomorrow's families. He's been a champion all the way for clean air and clean water. Pick any major policy issue of our time, and the chances are that Bob Menendez has not only been right there, but been a leader fighting for New Jersey's priorities and New Jersey's values. Now with Donald Trump in the White House and his Republican enablers on Capitol Hill working overtime to undo everything we stand for, from their efforts to gut the Affordable Care Act for our families, to writing a tax plan that hurts our middle class and those striving to join the middle class, to trying to ram through Supreme Court justices who will tear down vital protections our people depend on. For all of us, his leadership and determination have never been needed more. Donald Trump has gone around the country telling audiences to look at their ballots tomorrow and imagine that he is on it. On this one, he's right. He's absolutely right. That's exactly what we need to do. Here in New Jersey, that's our choice. We could vote for a senator who will stand up to Donald Trump, or we could vote for a senator who will do what Donald Trump tells him to do. That's not a hard call, is it, folks? No. Having Bob Menendez as our voice in the U.S. Senate has never mattered more. His tenacity and drive have never been more needed. Tomorrow we will send a strong message to the rest of the country. Tomorrow we will say that New Jersey's values matter. And we will do that by re-electing our senior senator, Bob Menendez. How lucky are we that we have two extraordinary U.S. senators who bring different talents, and when combined together, we have the 1 + 1 = 3 result that every other state in the nation would die for. It is my great honor to introduce the junior senator from the great state of New Jersey, the one and only Senator Cory Booker.
So first of all, I want thank you very much. I love you, and let me start by thanking the residents here, the men and women here, for allowing us in your home, in virtually your living room. Thank you for that. I want to thank our host mayor, who is an extraordinary mayor, one of my mentor mayors when I was a mayor. I want to thank him, and I just want to thank this incredible group that's assembled here. As a former mayor, this is the power in New Jersey. These women and men that are surrounding me right now are extraordinary, extraordinary leaders, and I'm grateful that they would stand with my colleague, Bob Menendez. I'm going to be very supportive and very succinct. Of course, I want to recognize the governor, who's been he literally is like the James Brown of American governors. He is the hardest working governor I've ever seen. I know why he now wears a suit and his tennis shoes, because he is always running for the people and never running from a fight, running to the fight. So I'm grateful for him. I'm grateful for him. I'm just going to be very short and very succinct, because I want to say this to folk in New Jersey. Just let's make it clear. I stand with Menendez. I stand with Menendez. All right. I stand with Menendez. And if you stand with me, if you believe in me, if you support me as your senator, then I need you to stand with Menendez, to support Menendez, to believe in Menendez. Because if you like the job I'm doing, you have to understand that I come with a partnership. I stand with Menendez. We stand together. If you believe in me, if you support me, you will tomorrow come out and vote for and stand with and support my senior senator, my friend, my partner in all the work I do for New Jersey. Stand with me in standing with Bob Menendez. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you the current and next senator from the state of New Jersey, Bob Menendez.
Good morning. Good morning. Let me thank Heritage Village for letting us into your home and for joining us and for having the press invade you all. So thanks to Heritage and all of our residents here. Let me thank our host mayor, Chris Bowledge. Chris and I ran in 1992 together, and I was running for the House of Representatives. He was running for mayor. It's been a great 26-year relationship. When I look at the city and travel through it, and Chris highlighted some of it, I've seen our partnership together in ways that changes people's lives. And that's what this is all about. So, Mayor, thank you so much. I appreciate your friendship. Let me thank all of my fellow mayors. I'm going to say my fellow mayors because I was a mayor for 6 years. Once a mayor, you're always a mayor, and you never forget what it's all about. This is the toughest job in America, being a mayor. I said that to Bill Clinton when he got elected president and I got elected to the House, and he came in to say hello to all the new elected members, and he came up to me and he said, Mayor, what do you think about this job? And I said, Mr. President, with all due respect, other than your job, being mayor is still the toughest job in America. And that's true. And that's true. People may not know who their legislator is, their freeholder is, they may not even know who their congressman is, or maybe even their U.S. senator, but they know who the mayor is. And they got plenty to tell the mayor as well. So, so I appreciate all of our mayors and the work they do every day to change the lives for the better of the residents of their community. It's a great privilege to be the elected mayor of your community. You're chosen by your neighbors and your family and your friends to hopefully change the course of events to them for the better. And so my thanks to all these incredible mayors. I could go through almost each one and talk about some of our accomplishments together, but that would take far too long. So thank you to all the mayors and a couple of the council presidents who are here representing their communities as well. I'm thrilled to have a true partner in this great governor. You know, a lot of the things that we do in Washington, we can only bring successful resources to the state when either the state matches it or does the right thing in its engagement, in its applications, in its advocacy. And I have to be honest with you. You know, I was beside myself when the late Senator Frank Lautenberg and I bought billions of dollars for a mass transit project, the ARC Tunnel, only to have Governor Christie cancel it. I was beside myself when we advocated for federal education dollars in the race to the top, only to have Governor Christie's department never make the application correctly. And the list goes on and on. This is a governor that is working with Cory and I and the congressional delegation and Common Cause to make a better future for New Jersey. And when we have a partnership like that, the sky's the limit. So, Governor, thank you very much for your leadership. I appreciate it. And And you just heard the shortest speech Cory Booker's ever given. But I love it. And he has been such a tremendous partner for the people of New Jersey in the United States Senate since he got there. He's an exceptional human being. He reached out to the other side. We talked a little bit about how can you work in the Senate. And then he reached out for the other side, reached out to Republicans to try to get things done in common cause, and had some successes. And so he shows he's capable and willing to be bipartisan. But at the same time, he's willing to stand alone for principle, as we saw him at the Senate Judiciary Committee. And that was an exceptional moment that showed us what true principle and courage is all about when he stood up to have the American people know what truly was in these documents. So, Cory, thank you very much for your leadership, for your friendship, for your advocacy. We appreciate it. And so let me just say we're thrilled to have the support of all of the mayors across New Jersey in this campaign, from Hoboken to Hillside, from Perth Amboy to Patterson, from Newark to Camden, and everywhere in between. This election, it has never mattered more for New Jersey's mayors to have a senator in their corner. Because as a former mayor, I've never forgotten how tough the job is. It's a job that embodies what Tip O'Neill meant when he said, all politics is local. It's about keeping our streets safe. It's about making sure every child gets a fair shot. It's about providing reliable services to your residents, from the senior who depends on public transit to the single mom who needs affordable childcare. As you face these challenges and more, you deserve a federal government that works for you, not against you. Unfortunately, Donald Trump is waging a war on our cities, and my Republican opponent will be just another rubber stamp for the Trump agenda. As a greedy drug company CEO, you can prove that he's an expert in price gouging cancer patients, defrauding Medicare, and stashing corporate profits overseas. But he was never a mayor, and he certainly isn't going to fight against Trump's assault on our towns and cities. Consider Trump's affordable, or should I say unaffordable, housing policies. And I do appreciate our host. She and her company have been the largest, probably, developer of affordable housing in our state, to give people high-quality housing in a place that they can call home, and that we should expect. So thank you. To raise rent on nearly 300,000 low-income people in New Jersey by an average of roughly 20%. 20%. Ben Carson, the Secretary of HUD, said, well, this is going to liberate them. Mr. Secretary, you're going to bury them. You're not going to liberate them. A 20% increase, that's 6 times more than the wage growth seen by hourly workers in recent years. We're talking about the people I grew up in Union City with. Dishwashers, home health aides, retail clerks, folks who can't afford to spend 5% more on rent, let alone 20%. What kind of government hands trillions of dollars to the 1/10 of 1%? Know this discrimination exists? Because when I fought to pass Wall Street reform, one of the provisions I wrote requires banks to disclose the data that they collect on credit scores, interest rates, and loan terms so that we can make sure communities of color get a fair shake. And yet under Trump, Republicans are rolling back the Wall Street reform, and now 85% of banks no longer have to disclose that data. We're moving in the wrong direction. We should be working to bring more capital into our communities. That's why I led the fight for programs like the New Markets Tax Credit, which helps drive investment and create new jobs in underserved communities. That's why I fought to defeat the Trump budget's proposed elimination of the community development block grants, and these mayors can tell you what a difference that makes in their communities. It helps invest in job training, after-school programs, and so much more. That's why I'm working to protect the very law that I helped write, the Affordable Care Act. 1 million New Jerseyans have health care as a result of it. 3.8 million New Jerseyans can no longer be discriminated because of pre-existing conditions. Seniors have saved billions under the prescription drug provisions that we created in the law, and that's only part of it. That's under attack by an administration that's trying to get the law declared unconstitutional. Those million New Jerseyans would lose their health care. No one would be protected anymore. The consequences have never been higher. I'm also talking about the provisions I wrote in the law to create community health centers. This year, I proudly led the fight to protect community health center funding from Republican political games. And in the past year alone, we've secured tens of millions of dollars in funding for our community health centers, like the $1.4 million grant to jumpstart construction at the St. James Center for Newark's West Ward that we were with the mayor with, a strong advocate of that, or the $2 million we secured for Project Hope in Camden this summer. And as a former mayor, I know we can't have prosperity without security. That's why throughout my tenure in the Senate, I've delivered hundreds of millions of dollars in community-oriented policing grants to New Jersey. Our mayors will tell you that that's a critical element. You know, Mayor Siah Patterson said, I'm proud of my F. I am proud of my F from the NRA. I always aspire to a good grade. But I'm proud of the F of the NRA because ultimately there's no reason. I voted for the assault weapons ban when it first happened in the House of Representatives. I'm a sponsor of reinstating it. Assault weapons aren't about hunting or protecting yourself. It's about killing. At the end of the day, there's no reason to have high-capacity magazines. I don't know why you need 50 or 100 rounds to go hunt a deer. That's about high-capacity killing. And there is no reason in this country when we have to go through so many background checks for anything else that's far less significant than owning a gun, that we shouldn't go through a universal background check that makes sure you have no criminal record, no domestic violence abuse, no mental health, and by the way, that you're not on the terrorist watch list. In America, we can do better in terms of securing our community. So, I think of this and so much more. I think about our infrastructure. You know, all these mayors will tell you as they come to visit me about, well, you know, this flyover, this connection, Kapowski Road.
You've heard that road.
Yeah, I should get a golden highway for what we put into Kapowski Road. But in any event, tremendous road here, infrastructure, all of IKEA, all of that area that you see along the waterfront. By infrastructure, federal dollars, and in so many other communities that turned it around. Remember when Trump campaigned on rebuilding America? Yeah. Well, it's been a disaster. Since November 20, it's now November 2018, and the only thing that Trump has built are artificial roadblocks for the new Hudson tunnels and the new Portal Bridge. Every time a New Jersey Transit rider gets stuck on that bridge, you should really thank Donald Trump. Because let me tell you something, we fought to get a new gateway tunnel and new bridge. I got the beginnings of monies with Cory for a down payment on the Portal Bridge. This is something that should be a project of national significance embraced by the president. This is a region that generates 20% of GDP of the entire country. It's a no-brainer. But Trump is in the middle of doing everything it can to stop us from achieving Gateway. And we're going to make it happen because even though he said he wouldn't sign a budget that had any money for Gateway, Cory and I got $500 million for Gateway, and we're going to make that project a reality. So from housing to transit, from tax policy to health care, President Trump and my opponent Bob Eugen share the same morally bankrupt ideas. And that shouldn't be a surprise. Trump is famous for getting rich by ripping off contractors and evading taxes. Bob Eugen may sell being famous for price gouging patients and stashing corporate profits overseas. That may work for a company, but it's no way to run a city, and it's certainly no way to run a country. That's why the stakes in this election could not be higher. The next 48 hours are about one thing. If we want to change the course of events in our country, if we want to make for a better life in the communities that all these mayors represent and that the governor represents statewide along with Cory and I, if we want to have a check and balance on an administration that is unbridled at this time. They have it all. They have the House of Representatives. They have majorities in the Senate. There are no checks and balances. And when people ask me, is Trump on the agenda? Well, yeah, he's taken a hit on us in so many ways. Took a hit on us when he wants to undo our health care. Took a hit on us when he capped our state and local property taxes. 1.8 million New Jerseyans are going to get an $8,000 hit. Took a hit on us when he wants to drill off the shore of New Jersey. Well, he's coming after us. We're coming after him tomorrow. And with your help, we're going to have a victory. Now, I don't know about you, but when I want to move into the future, I put my car into D for Democrat, and I drive into the future. When I want to go backwards, I put it into R for a Republican, and boy, do I go backwards. This is about going into the future. This is about having a new day. One day, 48 hours, to have a check on Trump. One day to change the course of event. One day to stop Trump. One day for victory. And with your help, we're going to make it happen. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone for coming to the city of Elizabeth. I want to thank Senator Menendez. And please vote column A for us in Elizabeth.
Yes. Thank you all. See you in a couple hours. All right, man?
Got to work too.